Okay, we're back. And sorry about that. My power went off, everything shut off, and now we're back. So I guess I should restart this one. And what I want to talk to you is about is hopefully. Okay, we're back. And well, here we go again. My power went off, everything shut off, and okay, I need to shut myself off here. Okay, and Rhonda, I think you were digging me, and I should restart this one. And what I want to talk to you about. Jeez, it won't shut off. There we go. Yeah. Okay, Rhonda. Hey, hello. I figured I'd pick up the phone while everybody's looking. I know. It's I'm back on now. Okay, so I'm gonna let you put us on Facebook if you don't mind. So hopefully people will come in. No, I'm live on YouTube. Okay, so I'll see you there. Bye. Okay, that's too funny. Okay. So, anyways, I guess that wasn't meant to be. But we're back on track. And the reason why I want to do this live tonight was to give you some good news in regards to what's happening worldwide and in other countries, because now they're starting to form committees of professional people, doctors, lawyers, scientists of all kinds in regards to their suspicions on what's happening with COVID 19. And as far as they're concerned, this virus is practically non existent. For one of the main reasons is that nobody can find whether this is they weren't able to isolate the virus itself and claim that it is a virus. They have to do a purity test, and then there's other things that have to go along with it, and do a peer review, and really prove that yes, it is a virus. Normally, before they'd even shut us down the way they did, but they didn't do that. So a lot of the doctors are now starting to rise up, which is, you know, from what we can see, the Canadian government really doesn't care, because our doctors are not threatening them that we know of. Anyways, but in the United States, the doctors there, some of them are independent. They have their own businesses. There's private hospitals that are being affected by this. So, things are developing. And there's also Dr. Corey and his team in the US that were actually looking into things because they were able to cure a lot of people with simple steroids. And what they did is they were working with a biopharma and other doctors. And what they were able to do was to go into the lungs and isolate the infection. And then what they did is they tried the protocol for SARS and H1N1 and MERS and ARSDS. So um, they were able to see that, yeah, it cures it right away. So this is what they were doing, even though they were told not to use steroids on patients. And then, there's other things that the government has said, the governments or the World Health has advised the doctors not to, actually resuscitate people when they're having a heart attack or whatever, or drowning, because if they do, it's too dangerous. And now, they'd have to put maybe a cloth between them, which is totally ridiculous. And this is why these doctors are saying, they have to first do no harm. They have a Hippocratic oath. And some of them are fathers and mothers, and they can't stand the fact that what is going on, what their families are having to live through, even though they're medical doctors. They've been accosted as well in stores. One doctor says, well, he's a psychiatrist and not psychiatrist, but a psychologist. And, he says, well, I have a doctor's license. So they let him go in, but still, it's amazing as to what they're doing, because the government will tell you one thing, and then the federal government and then the provincial government will do another thing. So now the good news is that yes, people are getting together. Medical professionals are getting together to do committees on this. Hello, Rick, Caroline, bonsoir. So, anyways, uh, like I said, there is good news. Stuff is finally going to start coming out, and these doctors decided they were going to do a committee, and it's called. The Corona Extra Parliamentary Committee of Inquiry. They are non-parliamentarians. These people are strictly on their own. They're not in political parties or neither affiliated to them. So their only vested interest is, for the benefit of the people, not for the benefit of government and corporations. So actually, I've sent them information, and what they've done is they started up in, I think, May 30th is when they launched their first press conference. And now they have gotten together. They have quite a few videos. Mind you, they're in German, but they do provide other languages. They've got French, English, and 8 languages altogether that they've given us the transcripts of the text. And also some of the videos, you'll see the transcripts. You can read along while they're speaking. So some of these videos, what we'll do is we'll show you them during the week sometime, possibly around Wednesday. And they're also involved with lawyers and what's the legal, they're looking into the legal aspect of this. And from what I can see, we're basically on the same lines. So hopefully I'll be able to pass this information on to Dr. Pam, so that she can start or getting organized with this group as well, because they're going international. And if Dr. Corey can also get together with them, because what they've done was pretty amazing in secluding this so-called virus. And this is why it'll be really important to see what their information, how they were able to seclude it, and were they able to actually identify it as a virus. From what I know, the answer to that is no. But anyways, in regards to that, again, there's Germany. And then we also have a letter here that I'll show you from England that was sent to the Prime Minister back on June 22nd. And then for Canada, before I forget, there's a company called the L'Institut Économique de Montréal. So that's the Economic Institute of Montreal. And they've come up with the numbers. Okay, and they figured, okay, well, we're not going to listen to the media anymore. We're not going to listen to the government. We're going to look at the figures themselves. And then what they came up with is that it says that actually COVID cases have diminished in Quebec by 94%. That would mean that there's no pandemic, no reason for it, and therefore no reason to be in lockdown. So this is all the information that these people are working on, because they're stuck with the same thing. And as well as the people here who have sent a letter, these doctors who have sent the letter to the Prime Minister. They're with Stand Up X Science Committee. And they say, Dear Prime Minister, this is a challenge to Public Health England that they must show proof that a virus exists which causes COVID-19, or declare there is no virus and end the Vax and Trax programs. We understand that the World Health Organization has advised Public Health England not to isolate and purify a virus said to cause the disease COVID-19. There are major questions over the validity of the testing procedures being used to determine the presence in the UK population of the putative COVID-19 virus, specifically relating to the throat swab RT-PCR test, and evidence of previous infection using antibody tests. The disease-causing effects of any virus are scientifically verified using Koch's postulates, of which 4 conditions must be met. Currently, the virus thought to cause COVID-19 does not meet any of them. So when they use Koch's postulates, which is the same thing that they're saying in Germany, none of them have been able to provide, not even the first cases in China, or even till now so far that we know of, have been able to isolate it and actually say, yes, it's a virus, because they have to take it and then purify it, and then also, write a peer review about it with all of their findings, so that others can, use that as, not use their experiment, but also do the same thing just for verification purposes. Before even the governments would have been allowed to be able to put us in lockdown and do what they did worldwide. So these doctors are wondering, like, what is going on? So now they're doing their committees to be able to come back, do their research, and then they'll give us the findings in August. where we'll be able to actually use that for court cases and whatnot in regards to their evidence. Because the governments are not doing anything. So they figured, well, if nobody's going to be doing anything, they took it upon themselves to launch this group in Germany and Austria. And then you've got the doctors in the UK. And then we have Dr. Pam, who's starting, launched this thing, make America free again. And as well as Dr. Corey and the team that he's been working with, they've actually, back in March, they've been trying to get Trump to listen to them, and they won't. To say that COVID is no big deal, just give them steroids and then some pills to be able to thin out the blood, and then they're fine. So they didn't have to put anybody on respirators. So what I've done also is I've been looking into this to see, because to me it made no sense that this is a virus, maybe a bacteria, but it's certainly not a virus. And with all of the symptoms that they've accumulated together, they kind of put this, so whatever you've got, oh well, you've got COVID. So none of it made sense. And from what we can see and what's happened with us here, is that we've noticed that there's some particles in the air. It was all over our deck, our car, a couple of weeks ago, and all these little dots. We our vehicle is still speckled with them because we're leaving them there. But even though it's rained heavily at times, those things are not coming off. So if that's why they're trying to press us into wearing masks, that could be the reason, because either they're spraying us with something, and probably, because now they're trying to block out the sun, and they've been doing experiments with that. So that could be what we're ingesting. And, depending on where the person is, or if they've got a huge dump in one area, that would kind of make sense as to what's going on. So I'm hoping that these doctors will look into this. And that's why I've been, sending them emails and what I've got here as far as information. So hopefully one of them will be able to tell us, if it actually makes sense. But to me, yeah, because a lot of people have been having hard times breathing. And when you're looking at the cloud seeding that they're doing, and, wiping out the sun with this white chemical, it would make sense, because this chemical is called, what they could use in there, depending on what they've been using. Most of the time it would be called calcium carbonate. And when the employees who are working in that kind of environment to make this stuff, they have to wear PPE uniforms and really protect themselves, the big masks, and you name it, So that would make sense as to why they're trying to force us to wear a mask everywhere without telling us, because then that's illegal in Canada. However, the United States has contracts with Canada for cloud seeding. And in the United States, they have the right to test. And I remember this coming out in 2005, maybe 2006, where HR, I'm trying to remember, it was HR 800 something. But anyways, the people, Bush made it so that they were allowed to test without telling Americans that they were testing on them. Especially in the air and everything else. So with all that, when you look at everything, really the foods we eat and everything else, well, yeah, that would make sense that everybody's testing positive for something. So the PCR tests, the tests that they're, testing everybody with, they're not good. They're not even supposed to be done for that. And this is what these doctors are going to come out with the actual evidence of that, and see what everybody can do in court with it. So that's why I'm very excited about this. So I'm going to keep reading the letter from England. So he said, the disease-causing effects of any virus are scientifically verified using Kuch's postulates, of which 4 conditions must be met. Currently, the virus thought to cause COVID-19 does not meet any of them. I like repeating that line, okay? Fulfillment of Kuch's postulates requires that the so-called COVID-19 virus must be isolated and purified. This has not been done. Therefore, the accuracy of the tests authorized by Public Health England is unknown. And that would be the same thing all over the world. Therefore, in summary, the tests for the COVID-19 virus are of unknown accuracy. Scientific procedures for viral isolation and purification have not been followed, and neither have any of the Koch methods for determining any disease causing effects. Therefore, we demand that by July 22nd, 2020, they haven't heard anything from what I can see, Public Health England must: one, produce independently peer-reviewed scientific evidence proving that the COVID-19 virus has been isolated and purified in the reference laboratories run by Public Health England under the leadership of Professor Zambon, Imperial College London SAGE member, in brackets, and then it says, ignoring the instructions not to do so issued by the World Health Organization. Two, produce independently peer-reviewed scientific evidence proving that COVID-19 virus causes disease using all of the Koch postulates. Okay, so it has to be confirmed 100% or else they're not going to buy it. If the United Kingdom government's own health agency, Public Health England, cannot show independent and peer-reviewed proof that a virus exists which causes COVID-19, then the government must declare there is no such virus and cease measures against something which does not exist, including producing a vaccine and the government's track and trace policy. Yay. Now we're starting to get somewhere. If the, okay, now yours faithfully, and this is by Dr. Kevin P. Corbett, Pierce Corbin, David Crow, Dr. Andrew R. Kaufman, which I showed you a video of the other day. We have them on our Facebook CPU page, and Dr. David Raznick and Professor Roger Watson. So they sent this. We haven't heard back from them still. But if you're looking at, when you're looking at these tests, what happened is even at first, you know, like who's doing the autopsies? Well, what are they doing on this? Well, some autopsies have come out. So here we have, I'm going to do a screen share with you and show you this here. Okay, advance and share. Okay, here we go. Now, I'm just going to spread that open a little bit. There. So here, lungs of deceased COVID-19 patients, now distinctive features. Okay, this was released May 22nd, 2020. However, since then, in a new study in the New England Journal of Medicine, senior author Stephen J. Mentzer, MD, thoracic surgeon at Brigham and Women's Hospital, and a team of international researchers examined 7 lungs obtained during autopsy from patients who died of COVID-19. They compared this group to 7 autopsied lungs obtained from patients who died of acute respiratory distress syndrome secondary to influenza A H1N1 infection, as well as the 10 age-matched uninfected control lungs. Okay. So both COVID-19 and influenza are the same category of virus and both infect the respiratory tract. While the lungs shared some common features, they were distinctive features related to blood vessels seen in the lungs of patients who had died of COVID-19. Researchers observed that COVID-19 damaged the endothelial cells, which is the vascular lining cells, causing severe endothelial injury. Patients with COVID-19 showed widespread blood clotting as well as new vessel growth, the later likely a result of the body's response to the virus. Now, if the body had time to create new vessel growth, how long do you think they had that? Okay, how long does it take to grow new cells? That's one question that we need to ask. So the later likely a result of the body's response to the virus. The team saw signs of a distinctive pattern of pulmonary vascular disease progression in some cases of COVID-19 compared to that of equally severe influenza virus infection. Some of the key points are highlighted below. So COVID-19 is a respiratory virus that causes a vascular disease. The damage to vascular cells helps explain the serious blood clotting observed in patients. A unique response into susceptible angiogenesis, IA, is the way the body compensates for the thrombosis and blood vessel damage. So what happens is the arteries block, and then after that, the veins will burst and cause hemorrhaging. Um, okay, so and here this is such as COVID told children with Kawasaki, stroke, and other seemingly related problems seen with COVID-19. Now this is totally different. I mean, um, don't know what that is, but I haven't heard that in the symptoms. So this study shows the need for more research on angiogenesis and the vascular effects of COVID-19. So what I've done is I've been researching this and trying to see like what in the world are they trying to show us here and or hide from us. So this here is actually the New England Journal of Medicine, as you can see here. Okay, pulmonary vascular endothelialitis, thrombosis, and angiogenesis in COVID-19. So these are the studies. Okay, so when we're looking at these studies, which is good because now these doctors in Germany and the ones who wrote to England now will have something to actually base their findings, as well as Dr. Corey in the United States. So when we're looking at these things, now we can see what they're trying to pass off. Okay, so this is I'm going to put the link to this so that you guys can see what this is, but I'm not going to go too much into it because I don't want to make this very long. But it just goes to show you that, yeah, okay, they're coming out with what their findings in the actual, how can I say, in the actual coroner's reports. Well, not coroner's reports, but autopsies. Okay. So, anyways, with these autopsies, it should be very interesting and see exactly, with Dr. Corey, with what they did, they just identified the infection. So this is probably all that they're doing is classifying this. Okay, well, here's the infection. This is where it's weird, but they have no proof that it's an actual virus. So it'll be tense for a little while until we find out the rest of the story here. But at the same time, having the curve go down, there's no reason for the government to keep us covered up and in this pandemic stage. But they want to extend it. Some places up to a year. There's another city. I'm not sure. It's close to Italy. And the doctors were saying that even there, they're using drones. People are not allowed out of their houses without using a mask. They've got the drones going, and the drones spot you. Well, the cops will be finding you soon, and then the drone will follow you everywhere you go. Anyway, such is life on this planet. Like, welcome to the Twilight Zone. Anyways, that's good news. And with what we've found, and we're finalizing our paperwork finally, and we should have some good news for you tomorrow as well on that. And I also want to show you something which a lot of people don't know, because I want to talk about human rights. Okay, so let's talk about our rights. Now, when it comes to our human rights, a lot of people don't even know, where is this again? OASA. Okay, here we go. Nobody really knows, because everybody talks about, the human rights from the United Nations. Well, this is the OAS. Okay, so this is about, it's the International American Commission on Human Rights. Okay, it's another avenue that we have. They call it soft law. And it's also written in our Constitution that, yes, we are protected by agreements that Canada has signed, including this one. And this one basically is the American Declaration of the Rights and Duties of Man. Okay, so this is it. I'm going to bring this down a little bit more so that you can see a little bit better. Okay, so they call it the IACHR, Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. Now, Canada has signed on to this when they first launched, and this was back in the 1940s, same as when the UN was doing it. So they wanted one for this hemisphere here. And even the United States, when you start reading some of this stuff, it's really juicy and it kind of keeps you busy because you see where Canada does not want to sign some of these things because it would give us too many rights. So, however, they did sign the Convention for Women's Rights, Women's Political Rights, and Culture. So I'm going to have to read just a little bit more out of that. And that's another place that we could put in a complaint, as well as the United Nations committees there. Mind you, at the United Nations, what happens, it's only the states that can go and make complaints, not the people themselves, other than just at the UN and not at the international courts. But what I did with our letter that we made is I did send it to all the judges at the court, the International Court of Justice, and as well as the International Crimes Court. So anyways, like I said, things are starting to look really good, very interesting. And when you're looking at these things, so this is the American Declaration of Rights and Duties of Man. It's the American Convention on Human Rights. So this is the latest one that they had done. But Canada signed on to the convention, but not to the other things. So Canada's kind of in the loop there, but because of precedents and everything else, Canada is still bound by this. So it's just a matter of wording it the right way. So, these are things that you can look at and go and read on. But it's another avenue for us other than the United Nations. And this again is for the our hemisphere, our Western hemisphere, and all the countries there, and even the United States are trying to get out of, their duties that they'd signed on to, or don't want to sign on to new ones either, just like Canada. So, but anyways, there is a from what we can see and the information that we had in regards to the decolonization of Mauritius. And the Caicos, the UK was forced to finalize their decolonization because you can't keep claiming that, oh, it's going to take you so much time and blah, blah, blah. And then, since 1968, still has nothing finalized back in, now that it's, well, at the time when that declaration came out by the International Court, forcing the UK to finalize the decolonization of the Caicos and Mauritius. It was really interesting to see that, there's no more time. Okay. So with us, I think the same thing will kind of happen with the letter, in the sense that with what happened with us was that we sent it out. We're still going to have to wait, same as what these doctors are. They're going to have to wait till Parliament reopens before we actually see some real action there. But at the same time, again, these doctors will be invited to the international group for to take part in the committees. So hopefully they'll get that done ASAP, and we'll hear back from that. So anyways, like I said, things are looking up, but at the same time, the only thing that's going to help Canada, we can't rely on everybody, fixing things for us, because it's all up to the different countries. So here in Canada, even if they'd fail, okay, because it is global, and that's really dangerous, because they can use that in court, saying, well, tough luck, everybody's doing the same thing, so we're going by our rules. And who knows what's going to happen because of that. So in order to be safe, I'd rather be safe than sorry. This here, yes, sign your Citizens Convention of Consent, please. It's a way of actually, even if they try everything, that's the only thing that will withstand any reason, because yes, in the end, the citizens have the right to self-determination, and this is a convention of consent exactly to do that, because we were not given the right to self-determination when the UK handed the reins over to Canada, and then Canada hung on to them till 1982, and then the UK and Canada swindled the people again by keeping the Queen in place when really they were supposed to decolonize us by law and did not. Okay. So, and then in regards to the Canada Act 1982, in our letter, we request that they repeal it as either spent or like change it and switch, put a statement. They can, the UK would have the power to be able to add, say, okay, well, big mistake, sorry, we have to place the people above government as they're requesting, because this is their right under law, international law. So every which way that they try to get out of this, we've got them, because we have precedents where Canada was told that they were obliged by the Supreme Courts to follow what they were told at international law, which they agreed to and signed on to. Et voila. And anyways, so we've got, many things going on, but at the same time, it's very encouraging, and I got to get to work. So I'm going to say thank you. Thank you, Quebecers, for protesting today and yesterday without a mask. Thank you for standing up for what is right, because these masks are causing more harm. And this is why these doctors are getting together to create committees, and hopefully it'll go international and that everybody's going to get on board. So it's up to us to get everybody together and check out our laws here, because here in Canada, what happens under human rights, it's the province that really is handling, giving us orders. They're the ones, it's the provinces that take care of the public, the people. And then at the federal level, they'll issue a statement, and then the provinces will do what they want. And I can't divulge anything yet, again, in regards to that. But right now they suspended our human rights. So technically we have zero rights. And this is worldwide. In some places they didn't, most places they did. And again, the people do have rights. You just need to stand up. And one of the ways that you can stand up without even leaving your house is go to thepowershift.ca, sign your Citizens Convention of Consent, get everybody you know to sign it. It's really, really, really important that you get this done, because no matter if anything else fails, that's the one thing that guarantees we win. I don't like to lose. So it might take us a long time to get here, but at least with what we're going to be presenting, it's going to be hard for them to get out of, because our whole case is based on precedent alone. Okay. So anyways, we'll fill you in. Tomorrow I'll do one in French for the French people, and to explain them a little bit of this, if I can stop being excited and shut up long enough to do it. But anyways, then by Wednesday, we should have everything set for you to see and to be able to download and read for yourselves. And, you need to inform yourselves about this, because it's your life, it's your future, it's your children's future. So do you want to be in quarantine and being under the thumbs of politicians, or do you want freedom? Real freedom. What we had before was not freedom either. So we can get something even better than what we had before. And we're in control of the corporations, and we're in control of our own funds. And we can create as much money as we want here in Canada in regards to our value. So I'm going to leave you with that thought. You are richer and more powerful than you think. And who is best to decide for you, your family, and your country? You or a politician? If you say you, please go to thepowershift.ca. Thank you. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.